Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the 13th Fleet After Action Report. I am happy to have you with us today. I am also very happy to have Admiral Tater's Ship Shop as our sponsor here. Fantastic, top-notch accessories for your Armada game. If you need anything, check it out. You got the website there on the ad, and we also will have it on the video later on, so you can go check it out. If you've played in any Armada tournaments or you see any of the ads for some of the upcoming Armada tournaments, then you will definitely be able to see some of his work. It is definitely something that you want to get a hold of. As far as me, well, I am Chris. I want to welcome you to the show today. I also want to let you know that at the end of the show, I'm going to have some announcements about some upcoming schedule changes, so I hope you'll stay tuned for that, just so that you know what's going to go on with the channel. As for now, I want to go ahead and welcome Admiral Tater himself, Garrett Vance. Thank you for joining me on the show today.
Hey.
Sadly, we
Thanks
don't
for
have
me
the
on.
whole crew today.
Yeah, we're missing a couple. They're in hyperspace traveling. Um, no, yeah, thanks, Chris. Yeah, excited to talk tonight. Uh, it's October, and this is a month we've been looking forward to for a while. So we've got to talk about our campaign stuff. Talk about the errata that's coming later this month. It could drop any day now, honestly.
And hey, you know
Anytime
the
from
events that are coming up too, so before
yeah,
we log out, we'll touch on those too.
yeah, lots of tournaments coming up, Canada and US. Um, but yeah, well, we're here to talk about our current ongoing test campaign with our rules, and we just got done with Act One's pivotals, and of course we do something different. Since we're 4 versus 4, we split it into two pivotals. So you do 2 versus 2, two games. Makes scheduling logistics way better and the play experience better. Um, so we've been gone for 2 weeks. So one week we did one battle, and the other week we did the second. The first battle we did, excuse me, was the Empire. Um, Jeff, or sorry, Nick and Sean fleet did an all-out offensive on Raxus Prime and Yavin, and then Aaron and Jason's fleets defended it. And now, so all-out offenses is the one where Ruben took the Corellian conflict rules for that pivotal and modified it into Rebellion of the Rim. And it's basically a giant hyperspace assault, but both sides get the choice to hyperspace in a smaller medium plus squads. So the battle happened at Raxus Prime, and and this is recorded, so you can watch this. But
Actually, it was
it did
not
not get
because
recorded.
no,
Okay,
no, we tried to stream that night, and we tried to stream and record at the same time because we thought we had things fixed, but unfortunately, that was not the case. We received while we were running on Twitch that
that's
everything
right.
was getting janky, and so we had to end that. But the good
Which we
news,
have
everybody, we
fixed.
have fixed. Yes, we have everything fixed. We know it works now because the last pivotal battle is up on YouTube, and we did stream without any problems, so we're in good shape now.
Yeah. So that is fixed actually, which is really exciting. So, anyways, quick rundown of the battle. So Sean had his ISD, Architens and Gazanti, and then Nick brought his Demolisher X-Rax Gladiator with two more Raiders and a Slicer's Tool Gazanti, and then Nick and Jason had an MC-75 with rapid launch bays B wings, and then a GR-75 with CommsNet, and then two CR-90s with TRCs and an MC-30 with TRCs, the Scout version. So, so heavy on each side, and then brutal close-up shot ships on each side. The Empire did not set aside a ship to hyperspace in. One big disadvantage the Empire had in this battle is they only had two squadrons. One ally from Nalhutta, a YT-2400, and then a Decimator that was part of Nick's fleet. So, and then the rebels had, Rogue Squadron, X Wings, B Wings, Dagger Squadron, B Wing,
And it was a brawl.
two A Wings. It was a lot of squadrons. So basically, the rebels went in, and the MC-75 took center on the map, captured the station essentially, right, to fight that ramming game where you ram and land back on the station to prevent taking damage. And the Empire threw everything it had into this MC-75. And Jason has concealment as one of his abilities, which is where he can discard a defense token to cancel a die. This worked to huge advantage with the two contain tokens, and it took 5 activations of the Empire to eventually destroy the MC-75. And the MC-75 got to also wreak havoc. The ISD, a Raider was close to it, and it got its B-Wings off. And then the MC-30 got to hyperspace in the rear. It came in at a not a very good spot. So it was out of the battle until the end of the game, basically, to where it would count as advantage. Gladiator, the Demolisher, had a moment where it almost one-shotted a CR-90, and it missing a couple damage really shifted how the rest of that game would go. Because a CR-90 got away, limped away, and didn't die. And so Demolisher got caught by all the squadrons, suffered a ton of damage from that, and then a CR-90 to shoot at it. So it died, and then...
I really feel like the defining moment, though, was pretty much what ended the game, because they kind of conceded at that point, was the 2-ship swing there at the end.
So that was after... So the MC-75 goes down after a ton of fire.
Yeah.
And the Empire is basically done activating at the end of that round. They get the MC-75 down, but the Rebels still have their squadrons, which are on the ISD, and they have the MC-30, which is in range now, and a CR-90. And so the Empire gets ready to full steam ahead, speed 3, run away with the ISD, right? And so it jumps out. Rebels get to activate, and they get first player, so they activate first. The MC-30 goes, and oh my gosh. So it's got Master Gunner on it and Ion Technician. The MC-30 one-shots a Architens with full shields, full health. Takes it out. Just annihilates it. And then there is it took both arcs, I will say.
Yeah. It took 2 shots, but it was 1 activation. That was just a lot. Brutal. Yeah.
And then there was a Raider in front of it that had 1 hull left. And so the MC-30 jumped up and rammed it and killed it. So it took out a full health Architens, which when it activated would have destroyed the MC-30 for sure. Because it was missing a lot of shields from getting shot by the ISD. And so MC-30 comes through, takes out both ships, and then at that point the Empire has no recourse. The ISD's butt is turned, with rebel ships chasing it now. First player rebel ships and squadrons. But at that point, it was getting pretty late in the night, so we decided to call it a resounding victory for the rebels. But that MC-30 double ship destruction at the start of that round was nuts. There was no coming back from that.
No.
So 2 key moments, I think. One was Demolisher not one-shotting that CR-90 with its, second move with the side arc shot with the X-Rax. And then the MC-75 was able to get its rapid launch bays off. And that comes back to a discussion of how we were trying to help newer players. I was coaching Jason and Aaron a lot in that game. And so that helped them a lot. But then we also were giving them their Destiny dials, which we don't. So we decided as a group to help newer players.
Well, and to be fair, Sean was actually getting coached too.
Yes, Sean and Nick, right. Nick was the commander.
Yeah.
And he's very experienced. So Sean had a Destiny token and he also used that. And that's what got his ISD out of there, actually. But So they were able to use my coaching and those destiny dials, probably a bit too much, because it let the MC-75 do this move where it was able to maneuver and do a squadron command, which allowed it to shoot the B-wings out, and they all got to attack the gladiator, which was huge. Massive, because they're double die bombers, right? So that was pretty big. And then, of course, that moment at the end where Aaron's MC-30 was able to just demolish both those ships.
Yeah,
that was
that was rude.
That's just dice. That's just Armada right there. That's just the way it goes. People really, newer players, MC-30s are extremely dangerous. They're fragile. They're glass cannons, kind of. They're really good. Double evade, double redirect with the right titles. Can sustain a lot of damage, but they got four holes. So they got to shoot and run. But
they can run.
Yeah, speed 4. So we called that there, and that was the end of the first pivotal. People had a good time. It was fun. Jason's MC-75 fleet with the B-wings, so cool. The fact that it's acting as a carrier that launches B-wings out is really just a fun thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. But then, so that was that. That was the Raxus Prime.
And just to interrupt, that is one of the great things about the campaign, because you would never, ever see that in competitive play.
No, it's not. It's not an efficient way to play, right?
Yeah.
So, if somebody's out there, you could definitely load up some B-wings on a Radistrop MC-75 if you want. It's pretty fun. So because it was all offensive, even though we won, the planets stay neutral. So it's basically nullified each other's attacks. The second pivotal, because of the way we got it set up, we had to do conquest. So Nick Parrott and I's fleets had to attack a base, and so we attacked Stolist because we could both get there without taking conditions. And Parrott's fleet is the MC-80, and it has HIEs. It has quad battery turrets, and it has electronic countermeasures, and it has expert shield tech. I think maybe it doesn't have ECMs. I think we put ECMs on the MC-75 actually, because he should only.
I don't think it has ECMs.
Yeah, he's only got.
I know it has the expert shield techs.
Yeah, so he's got that. He's got 3 X-wings, 3 Y-wings, and then my fleet comes, and I've got the Rebel Pelta with intensified firepower now from my Guido battle, and then I've got a Nebulon, and then I have a Mandalorian Gauntlet ally. I have a YT-2400. I have Green Squadron A-wing. I have Gold Squadron, and then I have 2 X-wings.
I'm assuming that's Nick that just said, I do not have ECMs.
Oh, yeah, probably. So that's a ton of fighter. And every single one of them are bombers, except for the YT-2400 Gauntlet. And the Gauntlet is raid. It can assault, so it can handle raid tokens. So the planet has an ion cannon defense, is the base defense. And so this puts the Empire in a place where they have to deploy all their ships and squadrons first. And so Ruben and Jeff's fleet is an ISE-2 with a bunch of TIE interceptors and HAL runner, interdictor, 2 raiders, and 2 Gazantes.
And mines everywhere.
Yeah. And so they deploy everything first, and then we set up the obstacles basically in the one half of the board, and then they get to put the ion cannons out, and then they also Jeff loves proximity mines, which is awesome. They get to put out 4 proximity mines on the map, so it's just a minefield of prox mines and ion cannons. And so Nick and I had to decide, are we going to try and go on the side of the board that doesn't have all these obstacles and items, or are we going to deploy on the far corner, basically as much farther as we can squeeze in, and try and hook up and attack the Empire head on. And that's what we did. So we put the MC-80 in a really good spot to where it's going to just drive up that side of the board with its arc facing in a way that's going to get shots, right? And then we got a GR-75 to the right of it, pushing squadrons. And then we have my Pelta and Nebulon just looking scrumptious out there to the left.
Because as a reminder, that MC-75 is a broadside ship. It is not a front arc.
Oh, the MC-80, yeah.
MC-80, I'm sorry.
Right behind, yeah. So, and with quad battery turrets and the HIEs, like it can put out some serious damage, especially in medium. But so battle starts. The Empire has its TIE interceptors a little bit scattered. And so we look at this as an opportunity of if they can't get those concentrated, we've got a really good chance to jump their ship with our bombers. And so they give us a good opportunity when an ISD activates, it jumps to speed 3 after we've traded shots a little bit in the battle. They've hit my Nebulon with an ion cannon, didn't do devastating damage, but I basically spend the next couple rounds just repairing this Nebulon and trying to get it out. And it's just taking pot shots out the rear and side. But so this ISD jumps to speed 3, and it prevents us, it gives us an opportunity to send our bombers to reach it. And so we get in there, we hand out a, I think we got a raid token off on the Mando Gauntlet, and then they activate.
At some point you did. I just don't remember exactly.
I think we only got it once, and we put a repair raid on it so that they couldn't repair the ISD. But they jump in the TIE interceptors, and at this point, we have the opportunity to then jump in our X-Wings and start hammering at these TIE interceptors. And so we just got the advantage there of being able to activate and destroy these TIE interceptors before they had a chance to get activated and shoot back. So they got their counters off, but, 1 damage average usually with the counter. And we've got X-Wings and Y-Wings, so we can tank it. So we start hammering damage into this ISD. I think a Gazanti comes up and it starts getting hammered. And then at this point, our goal is to sink the ISD, destroy it. We've got it really low. And so we start throwing all our resources into making sure squadrons can get to it. We destroy their TIE interceptor force. They're never able to get in a position to lock all our squads down. So we're able to keep moving around. And we get that done. And then they turn in and try and attack us with the Raiders. But at that point, we have so much firepower and squadrons on the board. It's just, they can't overcome the amount of firepower that's coming in.
They weren't really coordinated.
Yeah, it was. I think the ISD got out of position too soon. They probably should have kept it more together with the interdictor to prevent to show us a unified medium double front arc block, right? But I see what they were trying to do. The goal was they wanted to get the ISD-2 up, destroy the Nebulon, and then run away with the ISD and repair it. Because if you get it down below half health, we don't get any points for it, right? Yeah. So that was the gamble. But we had so many squadrons, and the Nebulon got to take shots. And the Nebulon and Pelta, it's just you chip it away, and it's just too much. And then basically the rest of the battle is they tried to turn in and attack us, but they eventually got the Pelta as well. Nebulon goes down, Pelta goes down. They get a really good shot off from a Raider on it.
Nick says, unfortunately for them, Green Squadron exists.
Yeah, Green Squadron speed 5 and a bomber. And I got a hit crit when I rolled on it. It's just a lot of damage, man. It's just hard to overcome. So we did that. And I mean, basically, that was the end of the battle. Once the ISD went down, they would have to destroy our squadrons and my Pelta and Nebulon to really make the points back, but
Yeah.
uh, we had already destroyed their entire squadron force and the ISD and the interdictors. So yeah. So technically, this is where we get into technicalities. So technically, we won that battle and captured the base. But again, we're in this campaign to test how it functions, and that was just Act One. So there's a couple things we want to do for Act Two, because the game changes in Act Two because everyone's fleets and will now have upgraded 4 times, as well as commanders upgraded.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna play it as if uh, we won at Solus or whatever, but like an Imperial uh, quick reaction force showed up and like chased us off or whatever, right? And so we're gonna let the Empire keep Solus. We'll say we won the top North battle, and then one thing I really petitioned for was I don't think you should be able to build more than one base per round. Um, and we did that. I don't like that snowball of bases because then I just keep farming more strategic tokens,
Yeah.
and that's strategic tokens are really powerful. So I think we're gonna give up our base at Mygeeto and just take the one at Mandalore, and then uh, that'll put the board back in a balanced state going into Act Two and see how we go there. Another big thing we want to do is free up how you retreat. So when you lose, it was set up to where if you can retreat to a base, you go there, and then if you can retreat to presence, you have to go there, and then if there's no base or presence, then you can pick a place. But we're gonna make it so you can retreat wherever you want.
Now it's still only one space away, right?
One space away, but that will really change where you end up.
Yeah.
Right.
It won't lock you into certain positions.
Right. So we want to do that. And I need to talk about this more with the whole team. And I talked a little bit about it with you, but I think the campaign point system is an unnecessary admin burden that takes away from the enjoyment of just playing the game with your friends and using the board and upgrading your fleet and upgrading your commander and telling your own story.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I could see when I think of a campaign, I think of an ongoing thing, and I think when they designed this, they designed it very much for there to be a definitive ending. And I mean, I don't know, anybody who's played a D&D campaign knows that it ends when people stop having fun. Yeah.
Right. So I'm more interested in upgrading my fleet and commander and like making moves on the map and just spending that weeknight with my friends playing the game. Because the format's really fun. People really like task force 3x3 battles. And I think the 2 versus 2 pivotals they're so good for time. Oh my gosh. And it's just, you don't got to schedule like an 8-hour block of day to play because a 2v2 battle can be played out in a reasonable 2.5-hour timeline. So I really like that. But I just really want to go back to when I'm looking at this map, I want to make strategic choices based off of what would be fun as the Rebel Alliance and not what would affect campaign point math. I don't care about the campaign points. I just want to play, upgrade my ship, and then see what the Empire does. Right? I mean, as if we take their base, right, and they only have one base left, right? Like I think that's a more meaningful end, right?
Yeah.
Than campaign points. I even like the idea of just playing 3 battles, do a pivotal, play 3 battles, do a pivotal, and then at a campaign our size, you just do the 2,
Yeah.
and then at the end of the pivotal or whatever, winner takes all or something. Because I'm more interested in just the weekly battles than overall winning. We've got this cool map. You can move around. Tokens are everywhere. Everyone's having fun playing different tokens. Like when they spy netted where I went and then diplomacied me, right? I was like,
Yeah.
I was really worried that they were going to use the diplomat token to not let me play steel supplies. And then they didn't do that. So they still have a diplomacy token actually, and can do that later. But yeah, so I don't know. Other than that, I don't think they had as much fun as we had because obviously it's more fun to win, right? But I hope that you know we've learned something from how we're operating because this is uncharted territory
And
basically.
I think it's worth taking a few moments for people who are curious about how the rules changes are affecting the outcome of the games and everything to really consider, are the rules changes what are allowing the rebels to be so effective and dominant, or is this just a matter of gameplay strategies and dice results and things like that?
Yeah, I well honestly, I I think the biggest one is like Sean and I's battle at Magito, right?
Mm-hmm.
He lost by like 6 points.
Yeah.
So I mean that is literally a dice roll, right?
Yeah.
That changed a lot on how the map would work. So I think
Yeah.
no matter what, people are gonna win or lose. And I think we just happened to successfully win some battles. But um I don't want I don't want two battles because we only did uh
Yeah, you only did 2 rounds leading
we
into the
only did two
pivotal
rounds.
because, again, that goes back to the campaign points.
Right.
If you weren't really dealing with the campaign points, you would have still had another round before you went into a pivotal.
Right. I don't want two rounds to sink a whole campaign just because we all win one battle all at once. Uh we got to think about like what we got to think about how w- somebody overwhelmingly winning like that doesn't break it. But I but on paper, right, all our fleets are very equal as far as upgrades go, right? No one
Yeah.
has a greater advantage, and technically, the Empire all has more commander experience. So, you know, their upgrades are going to increase commander ability wise because we haven't even tested our 6 tier extension.
Yeah.
Base game 4 tiers. Our game you can have 6 tiers of commanders, and you're not gonna be able to see that 6 tiers until the close to the end of Act Two, right?
Yeah.
Because right now most of us are operating on either 2 tier 1s or in my case because I lost a game I was able to get the 2 XP and 1 XP and got Master Engineer 2,
Yeah.
which is okay. But like I want to see what happens when I add a third or fourth ability, right?
Now, we had kind of discussed this at before we came on the air, about what might be a trigger point for ending the campaign, and you had mentioned something about when all the fleets reach 250, perhaps that's a good way to do that. It could be possible that once everybody has filled all their tiers, that you could do it at that point. What
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on that?
I think you're exactly right. I think once everybody gets to 250 points, uh, you have reached the end game of what you had planned. Probably, maybe not always. You don't always get to pick the planets you go to. But your fleet's reaches potential. At that point, games you're just swapping out things, right? You got to get rid of something to add something if you want to change it.
Yeah.
I think at that point, the sandbox experience has been concluded. Do one last big battle with your spaceships, right? And then start over. And start fresh with a different fleet idea.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and but I think the best part is like everyone is like growing their commanders, growing their fleets, and then hanging out, on Thursday night or whatever,
And I mean,
and getting to
I
play.
think something that supports that concept is just when you hear people like Jason or Sean talking about what they want to do with their fleet, and how they've got it already planned out to what the end goal is, then yeah, once you've achieved that, win or lose, you've actually done what you set out to do, you know?
Right. And the only people making you stop playing is yourself. So if you're
Yeah.
having fun, like keep going. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? there's no like there's no Armada Nazis like stopping you from playing.
Look, we're
So
telling you this is the way to play the game. Okay, there's
yeah,
only
like you
one
have to
way.
like end of Act Two, you've got too many campaign points, you got to stop. But it's like no, I want to keep going. So I don't know. I'm really fun engaged, and fun and engagement focused. So
Yeah,
whatever makes people happy, right,
yeah.
is generally the best path forward. Uh,
I think that pretty much covers where we're at right now in the
yeah,
campaign. Um, and I mean, we're anxious to move forward. We're still working out some kinks as far as what we're doing moving forward, but we are continuing with the campaign for a while.
yeah, for sure. We're just like again, we've only fought 3 battles in this Galactic Civil War. It feels like more because it took us a couple weeks to do pivotals, but
Yeah.
uh, we're just getting started
And for me,
now.
it felt like forever because I was trying to figure out all these damn technical bugs that
Right,
we're running into.
just sweating. Like, why is
Yeah,
it
I'm
not
like,
working?
what's wrong here? Oh, but I'm very
Now,
glad that we've got all that fixed. Whew.
heck yeah. So, but now what's exciting? So it's October. I can't. I think I said this earlier when we started the show, but
Yeah.
any day now. This erotica drop, super exciting, guys. It's gonna change how you build your fleets, how you fly, because a couple point changes on a card can mean a lot.
And for
And
the record, this is the last errata coming from um,
yeah, official sources.
AMG. Yeah.
Yeah. Super excited to see what that does. And then if it's the worst thing ever, Arc will work through that. So no worries there. Hopefully we don't have a Slavican situation, but we probably won't. I anticipate. I'm gonna be positive. And then other than that though, I wanted to shout out some tournaments. Let me make sure I get this all right. So there is a tournament in Chicago coming up October 12th and 13th. Technically, you're not supposed to be able to sign up anymore, but I know a guy. So if you want to play in it, please let me know, and I can make that happen.
I'm very
We've got
sad that my work schedule is not going to allow me to be there. I would
yeah, I'm
very much love to stream it. It's
super
been a
bummed
while
about
since
that.
I've streamed a tournament.
Uh, and then we have October 20th. This one's a bit of a drive for Kentucky, but there's a tournament at SideQuest Games up in northern Ohio on October 20th. And then I think Thunder Forge Games has a tournament coming up. Have to look at their thing. While I'm looking for that,
Now I didn't know about
the
that. The tournament on the. You said it was on the 20th, or is it on the 19th? Because the 19th is a Saturday.
19th, you're right. My bad.
Okay.
19th. And that one's being ran by Jacob up in Ohio. 19th at SideQuest Games. On October 12th, there's actually a game at Thunder Forge Gaming. And that's up in the Dayton area. Thunder Forge Gaming, October 12th. Um, we've got the what's it called? My thoughts. Oh yeah, the Ozark Mountain Open is October
26th?
26th and 27th, and then it's in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really good. I'm going to that. It's gonna be a
I
really long
have the
drive.
time off, unfortunately, because of the drive. I don't have the time off.
Yeah, it's like you got to drive there one day, play, and then drive back on Monday. It's really far from Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's like a 10, 11 hour drive if you don't stop. Um, and then also the St. Laurent Open in Canada is happening that same weekend. They always put on a really good show. I'm actually finishing up their prizes right now. I need to get those in the mail. And then there is another tournament in Canada. I think it's like the Grand, what's it called? Western Canada Championship. And that is November 9th. Yeah, that's in Canada. I don't know if anybody's listening to this, but in Canada. Um, And then, of
We'll
course,
assume our audience is worldwide.
yeah. And then, of course, there's another tournament in Kentucky, the Kentucky State Champs, we're calling it. And it's a team tournament. And I think we're still looking for people to fill some slots out. And that is November
16th or 17th, I think, because I know
November
again
16th.
it's on a weekend when I am out of town. So all of I've got a busy schedule at this time of year, and unfortunately, I'm missing out on all this armada.
So yeah. And then if you haven't planned on going to Worlds, you need to plan on it. It's gonna be a great time in March. But I'm sure we'll have more stuff ready to go after Christmas. Yeah, lots of stuff happening.
Yeah, I'll
Uh,
have some leave time by then, so I will
yeah,
actually be able to do that. I have no intention of missing this year.
we got to make sure when the errata drops that we get Chris online here so we can talk about it. Um, if he's at work, he's got to leave work, come home immediately. But yeah, I love it. That's all I got. I don't have any more exciting news or
Yeah, I
anything.
mean it's one of those things where we're kind of in a holding pattern, and we're enjoying the campaign while it's going on. I am actually enjoying watching the campaign without having a dog in the fight, which is nice.
Yeah, no
It's
pressure.
given me some time to actually, as you can tell, I've been spending a lot of time on graphics and the presentation for the 13th Fleet. So if you guys like it, be sure to let me know. Put some comments out there, and let your friends know about the channel, because I have been putting a lot of work into it, and I hope it shows.
Yeah, it's you got my approval. A plus.
So what do we have going on Thursday? We do have a game.
Yeah, I mean we'll start Act Two.
Okay.
So we'll see who gets on stream.
Yeah, I don't think we've even determined who's fighting against who. Of course, it's secret stuff anyway, so we wouldn't know until Thursday. But you
Right.
guys haven't made any declarations, right?
No. So we still need to generate the green objectives for Act Two. So we'll add more green objectives to the map. And then other than that, the map only thing that's going to change on the map is my Gita will go back to Rebel Presence,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll continue from there.
Okay. Well, with that, I know I shouldn't actually throw this on air and everything, but I want to ask you, just because it leads into my next topic, which is, are you okay with that time change on the show?
Oh, what time change? I'm sorry. What is it?
Oh, I'd been trying to get the group involved. We want to move the after action report to start at 7 o'clock instead of at 9 o'clock every other
Oh yeah, I can do
Monday.
that.
Okay, cool. So that's one announcement that I have for everybody. But before I get into the other announcements, I will go ahead and say goodnight to Garrett. I want to thank you for joining me on the show today.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
And I hope you have a great evening. Now, let me get this back to where. Okay. All right. You have a good night.
All right, see ya. Bye, everyone.
So, thank you guys for watching. I know it's kind of a shorter show today. We had a few less people on there, which means that it kind of was shorter to have the conversations. But I do want to get into what we've got coming up as far as schedule changes on the 13th Fleet. Some of you are just here for the Armada content, in which case the only thing that is going to affect you is that the after action report is still going to be every other Monday, but it's going to start at 7 o'clock rather than at 9 o'clock. That just makes life easier for everybody who's involved in the show, and we're still actually may make it possible for me to get the edited version up on YouTube later on that evening. So thank you for considering that, and knowing that this is going to actually work out better for a lot of people. On top of that, the alternating Mondays have been the Swoder campaign with Mallet. Some of you may watch it, some of you may not. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a great time with it, and we've had significant amount of interest in it. So we want to do more of that. And in order to do more of that, we need to move that to another night. We are going to move that to Sunday night, which is going to replace the Outlaws stream. So on Sunday nights, I don't have the definitive time yet. We are looking at either 6 to 9 or 7 to 10 on that. We're giving you a bonus hour on the Swoder stream, and hopefully you guys enjoy that and want to tune in and let me know what's going on. We've done some updates on that so that you can actually see the chat that's going on Mallet's Twitch stream as well as on mine, so you'll be able to know everything that's going on there. But again, that will be moving to Sundays, and that is going to start this week. You'll want to check out the Facebook page. As soon as I get confirmation from Mallet as to what time frame we're going to do, then we will give you an official announcement on the schedule changes there. I am not stopping on the Outlaws. I'm just switching that up with the Swoder stream. We will be doing Outlaws every other Monday now. Hopefully that'll give me some more time to get better with the controls, because obviously I have not been very good at the game, and I want to improve on that and actually give you a more enjoyable viewing experience. Then finally, we've got Thursday Night Armada, which is still going to be streaming Thursday at 6:30, and then sometime during the weekend, I hope to go ahead and get the edited version up on YouTube. The graphics have become a little bit more complex on that, and if you've watched the latest stream, the latest replay over on YouTube, you'll notice that I've put a lot of effort into trying to make it look better, make it more professional looking, I suppose is the best way to put it. And I hope you really, really like the new look. Again, if you do, leave a comment, like the videos, let me know what's going on, share them with your friends. We really want to grow the channel, and don't be afraid to tell us on Facebook, in Discord, in the comments on the videos, things that you would like to see from us, because I am more than happy. I want to make this about Star Wars gaming, and there are a lot of different games out there that we can try out. I'm actually in discussion with folks about a monthly Star Wars board game show where we get a group of people to play some of the Star Wars board games, like the Outer Rim is one of them. There's some of the classic games like the Death Star game from the 70s, which would be cool to get some people in on. There is also like a version of Pandemic that is based around the Clone Wars, which we want to get in there. So a lot of little games that we'd like to do videos on, and that would probably not be streamed, but actually go straight to YouTube with some editing. So again, let me know what you guys want to see. We are going to be giving you a lot of Star Wars gaming here, and I am willing to try just about any game just to see how it plays out. Anyway, with that, I am going to say good night. I know it's been a shorter show than usual, but thank you guys for watching, and I hope you'll join me in 2 weeks for this.
Thank you.